Summerhill Cinema 700 here. Thank you for joining me today for my review here of Q, the Winged Serpent. And now I love this right here. And I'm going to pronounce this wrong, but its name is Quetzalcoatl. But just call it Q. That's all you'll have time to say before it tears you apart. That's just such a great catchline right there. Anyways, guys, coming at you with the review of Q, the Winged Serpent. Now, this is a 1982 film directed by Larry Cohen, who did such films as The Stuff and some other ones that I can't remember right now. Now, I just watched this about a week ago, or no, it was about 4 or 5 days ago for the first time. And, this months ago when I saw a trailer, whoa, a fucking moth. Months ago when I saw a trailer for this, I thought, God, this looks right up my alley. I'm a big fan of, those 50s and 60s, creature feature sci-fi films, and I'm also a fan of stop-motion animation, which this movie has both those things in common with it. Its use of stop-motion animation and its overall just feel of one of those 1950s or 60s classic, creature feature films. Something like a King Kong or a Godzilla, or something like Ray Harryhausen did in his movies, Some Voyage of Sinbad. Just that same type of, just that golden-looking, beautiful-looking stop-motion. Big fan of stop-motion animation, so to me, it just touches my heart. I just love it so much. Anyways, down to, just the basic summary of this film. Not going to give too much away here because lately my mind's just have been dizzy and stuff, and it's hard for me to think, so I'm just going to go down with the basic rundown of this movie. We basically, the movie follows this guy who is kind of just like a small-time petty crook. He does, odd jobs for people. He works with kind of these criminals once in a while, and he ends up going to this jewelry store, stealing these diamonds, and, he helps them these crooks steal the diamonds, and he loses them, and I believe what happens is they end up just going missing, and he goes up into the Chrysler building, which is where the entirety of this film is filmed for the most part, and located in. Goes up to the top there, and I can't remember exactly what his reason for going up there is, and then while he's going up there, he goes up into the spire, right to the very top, and discovers this big giant egg there, which is Q's egg, the giant serpent here. Now, so we basically meet this guy, and in his mind, he's thinking, I've never made a success. He's fighting with his girlfriend. He feels like he's a nobody, and he's like, wow, I discovered this thing. If I tell, I want to be in the news, I want to be in the press, and onto, another big part of the film is that we end up meeting these police officers who end up, the guy tells him, I can't remember the guy's name exactly. I think it says probably back here, but anyways, the guy ends up telling these police that it's up there, so he thinks that, it's going to get publicized. He basically bribes these police officers, give me a couple $1 million, and I'll take you up there and whatnot. And, long story short, there's just this big, battle with the dragon. Now, the dragon itself, before the big battle happens, which I know I'm kind of jumping towards that, but that's just such an awesome part of the film. But you see a lot of scenes of the dragon's shadow going across buildings. They show a ton of aerial views. You don't see a ton of the serpent itself until near kind of the end of the film, or when it's attacking someone. For example, when there's a guy swimming in a pool and it attacks him, and you just kind of see the claw grab him and pick him up. And so there's a lot of effects like that. And like I mentioned, you see the shadow going across buildings, and the way that they did that effect is really cool. But yeah, awesome amount of aerial views of New York City, 1980s New York City, and the way they do it, it's really cool. It's almost like you're thinking, is this just a part of the cinematography, or are they trying to capture what it looks like in the serpent's eyes when it's going through the city? So just an awesome amount of New York City landscape and stuff, and you see the World Trade Center, the Empire State Building, and the Chrysler Building, which is really cool because there aren't really any other movies that I can think of that showcase this building. And really, in my opinion, it's the coolest looking building in New York, and I'm kind of interested in the architecture in New York. I find it really interesting. So I thought that was really neat, that this building has its own movie, and you get to see inside, and really you wouldn't expect it to look how it does, and it was really shot inside the Chrysler building. And you have to watch this movie for yourselves to see for yourselves what it looks like, but I gotta say, it's definitely not what you think it would look like inside the spire of the Chrysler building. But long story short, you know, this serpent is killing people. People are walking along the streets and blood falls down on their faces. Limbs are falling from the sky. And, basically these police are investigating, and they come down to, basic conclusion that this is an Aztec god that's been resurrected, and they go kind of back and forth to these weird scenes of like Aztec people skinning people's faces. It's kind of gross as hell, but so they're doing all this research to try to find out, oh, they think it's an Aztec god, and there's this crazy Aztec guy that's killing people too. But really what this movie's for, there's all that stuff, you got your petty crook on the side, you got all this other mumble jumble happening, but really the movie for itself, what you want to see it for is the Serpent. If you're a fan of stop motion animation, that's a reason why you'd want to see this film. If you're a fan of New York City as a movie location, and you like that architecture and stuff like that, and just New York City in general, then you'll like this film as well. And if you like those 1950s, 60s creature feature films, sci-fi stuff, then you'll like this as well. Now, I like all those things, so this movie, like I said, was right up my alley, and I gotta admit, some of the effects in it are pretty bad, but overall, I think it's really cool, and for its time, for a quite a late movie for its kind, using that stop motion animation being 1982, it really just feels no different than any of those other films. So it feels it's a really cool film. I think that more people should go and watch this if you're into those things that I listed. And basically the best part of this film is there's a big battle with the serpent at the end, and you got all these guys in these little, in the spire here, and they're sitting in these little bucket things hanging out the window, and it's like gives you the heebie-jeebies. It's like, holy crap, they're really high up, and they're actually hanging from these buckets. They're shooting machine guns at the serpent. So it's almost like King Kong, where when he was on the top of the Empire State Building, but in this case we have the people in the building, and they're shooting at the serpent, which is attacking them. And I'm not going to give away what happens at the end or whatnot. You're going to have to go see it for yourself, but I think I pretty much gave you the basic rundown for you to decide if you want to see this movie or not. Now, I'll put the trailer down below in the description there so you guys can watch it for yourself. But that's basically, Cue the Winged Serpent. I just think it's it's a fun movie. It's definitely fun. And got the Blu-ray here from Scream Factory, aka Shout Factory, and I got this on Amazon a month or two ago, and it only cost me like $10, $12. It was just a really good deal. So if you can find this for a good price, definitely pick it up. Now, it's bare bones for special features. We only have an audio commentary with writer and producer and director Larry Cohen, and then a theatrical trailer. So just 2 special features there. So, you're kind of getting what you pay for when you're only paying $10, $12. But really, I think that's still a steal of a deal. And there you have your disc there. And, this being my first time watching this movie, I don't know what it looked like on, VHS, whatnot, Laserdisc, and or DVD. But I can tell you that the picture quality of this Blu-ray is pretty good. And I've actually, I have watched trailers, original trailers, and this definitely looks better than those. So, transfer, from what I know, is pretty damn good. There's some other inner artwork, really cool, the Chrysler building there and stuff. So, that's pretty much all there is to say. If you're, like I said again, I'll say it again, if you're a fan of, those 50s and 60s creature feature movies, if you like stop motion animation, and if you like, New York City as a filming location, then definitely check this movie out, and that is Cue the Winged Serpent. Thank you for watching this video. Let me know down below what you think of this movie, or if there's anything else you want to know about it, just let me know down in the comments. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next video. Have a good one.